John, because he was blind, and now he's not. Okay, and Zacchaeus was a thief, and now he's not. And forgive my French, but the woman at the well was a whore who was exchanging sex for rent, and now she's not. Now you've got the story. You've got the story of what Jesus did. And listen, I want to speak to this in particular because I know there's some of you who've been in church your whole life and you're like, my story's boring. I've never really cussed. I make up my own cuss words. Ding fa. I've never drank, I've never smoked. In fact, I've never even been around smoke. And I've just never, let me just try to encourage you tonight. I am asking Jesus. I come from a long history of abuse and brokenness and hate. And because of that, it's made some scars on me and created some issues in me that I have to deal with. I have to press into Jesus, been to biblical counseling, I am begging Jesus to let those things go on the ground with me. And that my son and my daughter don't have to wrestle the things that 100 years of Chandler's have wrestled. I am pleading with Jesus that my daughter and son have your testimony and not mine. And you've got this great story about Jesus saving you from early on. How awesome is that? Never apologize for it. I don't know why that became less magical than did so much drugs. I woke up in the back of El Camino with new tattoos, chihuahua, duct tape to my back. I don't do that anymore. I was like, oh, that is all fake. You know what's even more awesome? That Jesus could protect you for so long in such a broken world. So we've got this story, but let me be honest with you. And I'm gonna do my best here not to be offensive, but okay. I'm gonna press hard and not apologize, and I'm gonna plead with you on something because you're the next group of pastors, and you're the next group of lay leaders, and you're the next group of church folk. I'm gonna beg you with everything in me to hear me. Testimony is not just your mouth, it's your life. It's how you live, and it's how you walk, and so this is where I want to plead with you, because I think what's happened to us is starting in youth ministry and youth groups. We get preached and taught this come out and be separate from them mentality. And so what ends up happening is the testimony it doesn't live among the sinners anymore. It's grouped up with the saints, and we sit around and celebrate ourselves. Can I maybe throw some ideas out that I'm just so unbelievably passionate about? How about we quit joining Christian fraternities and sororities? How about we stop that? And I know some of you in here, and I'm going to make you very angry, but will you please join a pagan, wicked, beer-guzzling, drug-doing fraternity? Please. Because that is where the darkness is, and it doesn't make any sense for us to hoard the light over in a corner and go, poor, dark fools, the light's over here. Let's protect ourselves because sin is like a virus, and if we get too close to it, we'll get infected and break out in the cities. And so what ends up happening is darkness stays dark, and you get bored out of your mind. Come on, I'm 32. Do you know when I was a kid, there weren't microwaves? Can you believe that? When I was a kid, there was no such thing as microwave. When you wanted popcorn, now I know you don't respect this because you live in a Jetson world where you press the popcorn button, but follow me here. When I was a kid, you had to get some Crisco oil, and you had to pour it into a pot, and then you had to get seeds, like actual seeds, and you had to pour them in there and pop the popcorn.
That was fun.
And you know that if we wanted to play video games, there was like a black stick and an orange button.
Woo! Look at Brad.
4 games, and they all make the same sound. And you can beat the game in 9 minutes. So you got your Atari, you got your Pitfall, and then you're like, done. And you know that when movies came out, like they didn't come out like they do now. Like I think last night there were like 8 or 9 new releases. I mean, you had 8 or 9 releases a month when I was a kid. Do you know there was no such thing as remote control? That's why people were having kids, man.
I want to turn the channel.
Slide bar thing inside on the top of your TV, and you did like 7 and turn it up. When I was a kid, sports had seasons. There was no such thing as year-round athletics. You know the kind of mall idea or concept came on my watch in just 32. You know, like when I was in high school, a playlist was something you put on a tape. You put a tape in. I know, once again, this sounds mythical to you, but there's this little thing called a tape. And you put it in, you press play record at the same time, and play at the same time. So the Def Leppard's Love Bites could get on this tape, so you could give that to your girl.
There's no more Bernie.
I know you're not going to believe me once again, but let's say that it was right before a football game and you were listening to LL Cool J's Mom Said Knock You Out, and you wanted to move on to the next song. You couldn't. You had to like hold the button down for like 9 minutes, and then you had to gas. You're like, oh no, rewind. Fast forward, and then you know the game would be in the second quarter, and you were still listening to Mama Said Knock You Out. Okay, so I'm rambling here a little bit. You know something else changed in this? I was listening now. Like, you know when I was a kid, everyone could beat you. Like, just random strangers on the street walking and whooping the mess out of you. There was never this moment when I was a kid where parents put you in the corner and made you think about stuff.
Yeah.
Like, time out, when I was a kid, that's what happened when your dad knocked you unconscious, man. They beat you until you lost consciousness. That was time out when I was a kid. So I'm a little bitter at some of you guys that got to go in the corner and think about that, because I would love that. I would love to have thought about it. A little more normal. I have my point, and I do have one. Okay. You are
Blessed.
You are the most entertained generation that's ever lived on the face of this earth. Look at me. There has never been more to do, more to listen to, more to watch, more to be a part of, more clubs to join, more. You are the most entertained generation that has ever existed. Why are we so bored? Here's what I want to plead with you. You're the next generation of pastors and leaders and Sunday school teachers, and can we stop building big churches with coffee shops in them? How about we just send our people to the coffee shops that are already out there where we learn the barista's name? And how about instead of building a rock wall, how about we just go to the rock wall in town and meet the people who run the thing? Now I know they've got the cities and we might catch that, but how about we roll the dice? How about we stop the madness here and begin to engage the world? Did you know that Jesus, when he prayed for us, right before they killed him, right before he died, he says, Father, I pray not that you take them out of the world, but that you protect them from the evil one. And I know you're going, well, Chandler, you join a frat like that, you join something like that, you go to those places, you go do those things, you go be a part of those things, man. Bad things can happen. Yeah, they can. It's dangerous and it's bloody. And Jesus even said, it's like sheep among wolves. And I know a lot of your city folk, but that doesn't end well ever. But is it more dangerous, please, I'm pleading, is it more dangerous than us hurting up and being self-righteous? Which, by the way, God says over and over again that he despises. In fact, on more than one occasion, he said, God, I wish you would quit singing. I wish you would quit bringing stuff to my altar.